Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt
And
Roast.
I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
Welcome to our new edition of Big Brother 27 live feed spoilers. Today is day 30. Just a little bit of a quick reminder here from the jump that this is not a video about tonight's new episode of the show. We are focusing just entirely on live feeds, which is really a great thing because even if you watch tonight's episode, like we actually have the skinny for you here on what's going on leading up to that eviction.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to dive into the live feeds. We don't typically do any recaps or anything like that of the episodes, but we are filming a little bit later
Yeah.
because, as you guys know, I've become a mom. I've adopted a son,
Mhm.
and he is 2.5. And my husband is here in the evenings so that I'm able to actually film, but not during the day. So we've had to switch it up a little bit.
Yeah, we appreciate everyone out there for being understanding, for hanging with us now in the evenings. Like we love talking about Big Brother with you guys, and
Mhm.
there is a lot of information to get into. But I mean, there's one crazy question at the start of it. Rachel and Keanu, can these crazy kids ever find a way to make it in this crazy world together?
I know, like right before we jumped on, they were having a really good conversation. And I mean, it could be going somewhere.
There's a very twisted part of my head that just wants to see them like Thelma and Louise drive over the cliff with each other, like become the best of friends because their relationship, it's so cracked. I know I'm talking like Big Brother Twitter at this point, but it's just like so messy. There's no trust there, but they kind of probably could actually use each other.
Yeah, I almost feel like if they weren't in the house, they'd be great together. They'd be really like friends, everything would be fine. But because you've got someone like Rachel who is pretty strategic and she's trying to work with somebody who is not strategic at all, it's going to be frustrating on both sides.
And what makes it even funnier is that Keanu tries to be strategic. He's just really, really bad at it.
Yes.
Okay, well, we have so much more to say. Before we do, though, be sure to hit that subscribe button because, like, thank you guys so much for helping us on this journey to 75,000 subscribers. Like, we are actually closing in. We're at this point now where it feels like it's legitimately on the horizon and it's just not like pointing and laughing at us anymore. Like, we really appreciate your support.
Yeah, it feels like it's any day now
I
and
know.
we're so excited. So thank you so much for helping us reach this goal and hitting that subscribe button. And if you want to talk to us further about Big Brother, you can
Mhm.
head over to our Patreon. I'll leave a link for you below. And yeah, you can chat with us over there about the show as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you guys. We very much appreciate that. And yeah, let's start with Rachel and Keanu because this is what was going on right before we started
Yeah.
recording. In that Rachel is kind of taking it upon herself at this point to be an extension of Jimmy's campaign because Jimmy on the block in very, very big trouble. You know,
Huge.
he needs 6 votes, right? Like he needs a good many votes. And yeah, he's got Ashley, he's got Rachel. I mean, yeah, you could talk about Ava or Will, like will they, won't they, what? But ultimately, regardless of anything else, Keanu is a number that he desperately needs. And the great thing about this, and what I'm loving about this week, as polarizing and frustrating as it might be, Keanu is the belle of the ball all of a sudden.
Mhm.
Like for the first time all season, people coming up to him and be like, let me present something to you, Keanu. Like, here's a protein shake. Here's some information. Like, what do you want to do with it?
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy's in real trouble. Like, it
Yeah.
truly feels like if he doesn't win this blockbuster, he's just gone up against Kelly, up against
Yeah.
Riley. I mean, Riley's not going home, but he really feels like he is done. So for him, like yesterday, he was really campaigning really hard. Today, he's been still doing some campaigning, but Rachel's out there as well trying to help it out. Like, it's going to take a miracle.
Yeah, like a real miracle, like really good Big Brother telephone where maybe she gets through to Keanu and Keanu
Yeah.
goes and tells another person or two. Like obviously Keanu is like the worst person to trust with anything in this game because he flips and flops depending on how he's feeling at any given point.
Yeah, but his vote matters,
Yeah,
right? And if you can at least secure that one vote, then that's one vote
yeah.
closer. Jimmy just has a very long road to go. His HOH, it was what it was, but
Yes.
he's been so messy and he's played all sides and everybody feels clowned. And it's really the biggest rule here on the show is you can't make people feel like they're dumb. It's just, it never works out for you. You can't make big shows and clown people around, drive around the clown car and then
Yeah.
be like, hey, I need your vote. Like, it doesn't work. This is
No.
why Jimmy, even if Jimmy stays, Jimmy's not winning this show. He
No.
has ruined his jury management.
He really, really has. But this is where I think Rachel did a good job with this campaign. I'm
Mhm.
not saying it's going to work, but she presented something to Keanu that was simple, that made sense. And I honestly think she was being truthful. And that is that, you know what, Keanu? Jimmy is somebody who will be a shield for you. You keep
Mhm.
Jimmy in the game, then yeah, people like me, people like Jimmy, these are people who are going to be targets. You're a very big target. There's nothing really bad that comes from keeping him because guess what? We're not coming after you now. And yeah, if Rachel had said that a week or two ago, I would be like, Rachel, let's be serious here. But it's just Rachel knows at this point she's got bigger fish to fry. She has been talking about Vince nonstop for 48 hours to the point where Vince is now talking nonstop about Rachel.
Yeah, the problem that's here now at this point is just Keanu doesn't really have a reason to believe her. They have been like back and forth, and he
Yep.
has felt that he can't trust her, and some things he shouldn't trust her. So I think it's just now that she's in this more desperate situation, that doesn't mean that you're being trustworthy. And because the trust has just been broken for so long, I don't know if, like, yeah, it may seem like she's getting through, but it may not stick with them. We could see him go off later and be like, I just don't believe it.
Yeah, and that's why, in my deepest pit of my very sad heart, I just don't think he's going to do anything with this, just because of the fact that there's so much water under the bridge at this point. And I think
Yeah.
Keanu's also a guy who just knows, all right, everybody's coming out to get me. And if there's just way too many numbers on the other side, like, why am I going to then go and do this with somebody I don't really trust? And yeah, Jimmy's a big target and all that might be true, but there are other big targets the other way at this point now too, where if I side with the majority of the house, maybe they're going to go at Rachel before they go at me. Like maybe I'm going to buy some time. I mean, Keanu is also so delusional that I think he legitimately feels like he can just win comps the rest of the season and be okay, even though we all know comps and Big Brother are not always physical.
No, no, they're not always physical, but I mean, like, there are people who have won comps and comps and comps and
Yes.
comps. I mean, it's just, he would have had to have been winning them since pretty much week one. Like, it's just, it's not going to be a thing he's going to be able to keep up.
No.
Although, I mean, every week you have quite a few chances. You can win HOH,
Yeah.
you can win the veto, you can win the blockbuster. There's a few chances to win something to save yourself.
Yeah, there is. And I appreciate the way Rachel went about this. And this will probably always be, to speak about this in romantic terms, the one that got away from me, the Rachel and Keanu alliance. Because I love them both. I think they're both like, Rachel's a legend, obviously.
Yeah.
Keanu is delusional, but incredibly entertaining. I would have loved this. I don't think it's going to happen. But good for you, Rachel. You're obviously the epitome of never giving up on Big Brother.
Yes.
All right, so Jimmy has continued, a little bit of a campaign elsewhere. Like he did some stuff with Will today, and
Mhm.
he laid this on so thick. It's like you go to a pancake house and they pour out like that syrup that's barely coming out of the jar because it's so thick. He's just like, Will, I don't know if I can play this game without someone like you. You're so precious to me. And like they've talked before, but it's not like they've had all these one-on-one conversations where I'm just like, okay, this relationship is meaningful and justified.
Yeah, no, Jimmy, it's not always about syrupy words
Yeah.
and being, you can't. Sometimes you really do just need to take a minute to get to know Will and really
Yeah.
start to have conversation with them and make connection with them. That I know you don't have a lot of time, but you
Yeah.
do have time to at least start with something.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like there's a part of Will who probably does want to keep Jimmy. I just think the problem with Will here, and it's the same problem that Ava has, is that even if the two of them wanted to do this, then they join Ashley and Rachel, then you need 2 more votes. Like, where do you think these votes are gonna come from? Like, even if Keanu does magically get convinced by Rachel, you still need one other person.
They're
Like,
still short.
yeah, you think you're gonna get Catherine? You think you're gonna get Lauren? It's just there's no real possibility there with any of it.
No, there is. Jimmy is toast. Unless he wins this blockbuster, he's toast. But I have to say that I do appreciate that he is still trying, even though he knows that he's done for.
Yeah, that's just sort of the deal. I mean, good for Jimmy. He is still supremely confident in his ability to win this blockbuster. This man has gassed himself up so much when it comes to his blockbuster ability. But you know what, Jimmy? I want you to win the blockbuster.
Same.
Yeah, like I want somebody who's going to play hard and try to be entertaining. And, obviously you guys have watched these videos. If I had it my way, Riley would be leaving this week. I do not enjoy watching him play Big Brother. The reality is that's not happening.
The other problem is that Jimmy is not really kind of learning from any of this. Like, he's burned his jury votes easily. He's burned all these votes easily.
Yeah.
But he's also still talking about, like, well, if I go home, I'm going to go home in a blaze of glory. And it's just like, oh my God, this is why you're here.
It is one of these sort of things where even if you're just doing it thinking, oh, ha ha ha, I'm so funny, and I think Jimmy thinks that. I think he thinks that
Yep.
he is the most hilarious person alive. Not everyone else is going to think your jokes are funny. Some people might be insulted by them. It's like that is the problem when you play this sort of big personality, is that unless you are like the most socially charismatic person of all time,
Yeah.
aka Dr. Will Kirby,
Yeah.
like not everything is going to land. So Jimmy has put himself in this position, but this is where I hate to say it, Kelly, but I am ready to sacrifice you into the Big Brother volcano. You've
Yeah.
done well, but I feel like you've run your course.
Yeah, I feel like it's just a lot of rinse and repeat at this point. I'm fine to let go of Kelly.
Yeah, it's just that she's not somebody who has like Keanu, he's not a good strategic player, as we have outlined, but I feel like Keanu at least tries, and he's at least out there having conversations.
I agree, yeah.
All of Kelly's conversations are uncomfortable, and she just doesn't really get it in a lot of situations. Like, she's having this conversation with Vince, and she says at one point that she thinks the most powerful people in the house are afraid of her, and it's just like, it's week 4. I understand that, there are clueless people in that house, but it's like, how are you this clueless? It's not that people are afraid of you, it's that you're easy to put on the block, and you've won a lot of competitions, and people will want to get rid of you the moment they have the chance.
Also, the most powerful people in the house are Vince, the person that you're talking to. So it's just like you're clueless in many regards at that point. If you think that the most powerful people in the house are afraid of you, and that is Vince, then what are you really saying to him?
It's so true. Now, okay, Vince, it's just time to pour all the praise on Vince here for a moment. As much as not everyone may like it, you certainly do.
I
But
like Vince.
Vince is basically today Don Draper and Mad Men. He woke up, he decided, I'm just going to clock in, I'm going to go to work. Maybe I will skirt around the ethics in certain situations. I'll be a little bit shady, but you know what? I'm going to be in the office. And Vince went to the office with like 5, 6 other people today. He's just had one-on-one conversation after the next. And with Kelly sort of presented herself as, I'm nervous if it's me versus Riley. Like, can you help me out, Vince? Can you get me some more votes to make sure I'm okay? And Vince just totally gives her the, oh, yeah. Well, don't worry about it treatment, which it's just like, okay, just like Don Draper, Vince is clearly lying in this statement.
Absolutely. It's Big Brother. It's fine to lie.
Yeah, that's ultimately, though, what Vince is so unbelievably good at, is
Yes.
reassuring people and making them feel like, okay, you know what? You're being listened to, even if I do not mean anything that I am saying to you.
Yeah, he's really, really good at making people feel heard.
Yeah, and that's why you get into a situation where we also had this conversation where in Vince's office today, he also had a meeting with both Lauren and also Keanu. And at first it started with Keanu and Lauren. What a weird combination that is. But then Vince eventually joins, and Keanu's openly giving his feedback about what he wants to see happen this week. Something that Lauren would never do almost any normal circumstance here. Keanu's basically like, A part of me wants to keep Jimmy because I do know that Jimmy is a big target and that's something that could end up helping my game.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want to do anything that's going to get me in trouble. I'm kind of indifferent on all of this anyway. So I get the sense personally that Keanu was just like, I don't want to be on the wrong side of the numbers again. Just tell me what to do.
Absolutely. And I mean, it sucks for him, but that's kind of how you play the game in, Big Brother. You have to be on the right side of the number
Yeah.
sometimes because if you're not, or you flipped a vote, it could all come back to bite you.
Yeah, and Keanu, okay, he's learned at least a couple of little things, and I think one thing Keanu has learned is that, oh, this is not a week that I need to make things worse for myself.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna kind of have conversations, give opinions, but then I'm going to listen to what people are telling me. So he listens a lot to Vince and Lauren in this situation. I mean,
Mhm.
Vince is very clearly steering the ship at this point of, okay, let's just go ahead and get rid of somebody I'm worried about. Let's just get rid of Jimmy. And I
Mhm.
think that Keanu's more than fine with this. It just gives Keanu some purpose in life. This is one of the first times where maybe he goes on the block depending on who wins the next HOH, but it's not a guarantee. This is one of the least guaranteed times that Keanu is in danger in the entire course of this game.
Yeah, it really depends on who wins this HOH and if Keanu is really that big a target at this point because I think everybody knows that he's not going to win this game. I'm sorry, I
I'm
I
crying.
I
I'm sad
know.
Keanu
Listen,
tears. It's okay.
I
He's not
know.
winning.
No, he's not winning. He seems like a nice enough guy, but he's not winning. So I mean, at this point in the game, it is good to get rid of people who are not on your side of the house so that they're not on jury because they're not going to vote for you. This is the time to like weed it out. And, Keanu is just not that.
I feel like the only reason Keanu even had any doubt in his head about how he should vote is because Jimmy did try to claim and do his own little bit of lying here to Keanu and be like, I've got Will, I've got Rachel, I've got Ashley, I've got Ava. When really it's like, okay, maybe you have two of those votes. It's a possibility, but he's presented Keanu with more numbers than he really had. I think that made Keanu a little bit more nervous, but ultimately it doesn't matter. He is now on the same point with Vince. They can move forward in lockstep, and
Mhm.
we'll see if anything crazy happens here. But I mean, at this point, I kind of sort of doubt it.
Yeah.
All right, so Keanu eventually will say goodbye to him for a little while, and Lauren. Okay, I watched a lot of feeds just in the hours leading up to this, and I have found something incredibly fascinating with Lauren. It's like she has a completely new personality if she's talking to Vince or to some extent Zach. She'll talk to other people, and I'm just going to say, I don't know. And she'll talk really slowly. She won't give any answers. Then she'll talk to Vince, and it's like she has opinions about everything. She is just like clear and direct. And it's just like, is this a twin twist? Did like someone else come in and it's become a new person?
Yeah, it feels a bit like she's just playing the rest of the house to be kind of like, I don't know, I'm not a threat, and it feels like strategy. I mean, because clearly when she's talking to the people she trusts,
Yeah,
like Vince, like Zach, somewhat,
yeah.
she's being very clear and direct about what she thinks and what she feels, but she's not spreading that around. And
No,
that is kind of the way you have to play. If you don't truly trust somebody in a house built on lies, then you need to just be elusive about it. I don't know.
it's funny even because she'll talk to Vince separately, like after this Keanu conversation, and be like, I don't know if I want Keanu in jury. And it's like, okay, that vibe did not come out of that conversation earlier because you had not unlocked that half of your personality at that point. Like they're still in the same opinion about the Jimmy vote, but they just talked a little bit more openly about things. Vince really pushed his ultimate agenda here about Jimmy being, if Jimmy hypothetically stays, because this is also Vince in the game. He's one part Don Draper, but he's also one part I want to go and hide in the corner because he's afraid of everything. He's afraid that if Jimmy stays and Rachel's there and Ashley's there, that he's going to be in real danger. You would not want anything to happen to poor, sweet, weak, innocent Vince.
Yeah, he's playing that up quite well. Like, I just don't think that he is that. The way that
No.
he's been talking to everybody and how confident he is with his conversations and, you know, the relationships he's developed. I don't know if everyone's going to completely buy it because he is really good at making people feel good and him feeling good with other people. So it's, for me, it's kind of a tough switch that all of a sudden he's like, I'm afraid kind of thing. Cause it's like, are you? You don't feel like you are with the way that you're having these conversations, but some people are buying into it.
Some people are. I think a lot of it comes down to something you mentioned weeks ago, which is one of Vince's greatest strengths is that he's really good at mirroring other people
Yes, he is.
and kind of telling people what they want to hear. The risk that comes with that, of course, is eventually they figure it out. Or if you have multiple of these people in the room at once, then you can't really do that as much, which is probably why he probably likes these one-on-one conversations so much.
Here's the thing, Vince is winning this game. Like, I just, if he goes up, I don't think he goes home. Like, he just has enough people that will insulate him. I don't know how he loses.
I really tried today to kind of think a lot about this, and I was like, okay, even somebody like Zach, who's also playing a really good game, like, would Zach stay over Vince? And it's like, I don't know. It's just because Vince just has certain people like Lauren, like to some extent Kelly, who's even had issues with them where they're just all drinking the
Yeah.
Vince juice. And it's just one of these situations where it would take like a really aggressive, really great campaign from the other side to make that happen. But we're on the subject here of Lauren being vocal about things, and because this is a rare occurrence, here's something else she sort of has clocked here is that she's got some doubts about Morgan and Mickey after this HOH reign, which I think a lot of people have, but I think at the same time there are people within the Vince group who are like, okay, they might be useful to us for now, even if Mickey might be a little wary about Vince now for reasons we'll get a little bit more into later. But
Mhm.
I think the big problem is that Mickey has been so insufferably arrogant over the past couple of days, which I never would have expected out of her like a week ago, ever.
No.
Like she did something like last night for Kelly's birthday. She had a birthday celebration, and Mickey and Morgan were talking. And Mickey basically said that Kelly didn't deserve to have a birthday like that. And it's just like, I know you're just talking to Morgan, but that's just gross. Like, why would you say that? Like, what's the purpose? That's very Big Brother 19 sort of group think. Let's just really come down hard on the people who are on the outside. Like, I like watching people be sort of wicked and mustache twirly, but that I don't classify as that as that. I just classify that as mean.
Yeah, you don't deserve a birthday?
Yeah.
Like, that's the one day that is somebody to celebrate yourself. Like, it's the one day that's special for you. Everybody deserves their birthday. That is, yeah, it really rubbed me the wrong way. I have been a Mickey fan. I've really liked her since the beginning, but she is saying some things that are just like that prayer circle thing was felt really mean spirited, and this is definitely mean spirited, and it's not messy
Yeah.
mean spirited, I guess we'll
No.
call it messy. It's just mean.
Yeah.
So I'm not down with this
No, I'm
anymore.
not down with that sort of stuff. I'm more down with like light-hearted stuff that's maybe it's a little bit mean, but it's just like Kelly having a birthday party and then Ava sitting there like she doesn't want to be there. Like that to me is just funny. Like there's a difference between being funny and sort of awkward and whatever this is. But okay, let's get more into now. We've gone over a little bit of what Lauren thinks, but Lauren's also recognizing that Ashley wanting to keep Jimmy around, like that could actually be beneficial because the more Ashley speaks about it, the more that might drive a wedge between her and Morgan and Mickey. And I think that's what is so good about Lauren in the game here is that she kind of sees the long game and she's sort of like,
Mhm.
okay, if we had this other side of the house and this other side is really in shambles, like I don't know if there's going to be any way they can pick it back up unless of course Rachel or we're in a situation where Ashley wins head of household.
It's really interesting for me this season because typically I'm not rooting for the people that are in power every single
Yeah, I
week. And
know.
I know Mickey's not part of that group, but like the Vince and Lauren and Zach sort of grouping that are really the people that are controlling the house in a lot of ways, I can't help but root for them because everybody else is just so bad at this game.
It's so weird this season. Yeah, I think like like the last time I was pro the people in power most of the time was Big Brother 20, and that's because Faute made it impossible for me to ever root for them.
They were so
Like,
bad, underdogs, like the absolute worst.
no, like the absolute worst, and that is why you just have people where I like watching Ashley for entertainment purposes, but she is just so reckless that it's like anytime I start to be like fully on board with her, she just completely tanks it
Well,
time and time again.
that's the thing. I'm sitting back being like, who would I see as a winner of this season
Yeah.
and feel like they played a great game? If they were like, and the winner is Ashley, I'd be like, what happened to make this happen? And the winner is Keanu. It's like, how did we get here? Like, Jimmy, how in the world would that
I
have
don't
ever
know.
happened that the jury would ever vote for him? Like, there's just so many people
Yeah.
who out there feels like they're going to watch the end of this and congratulations, Kelly. I'm just like, I don't know. The season is so weird.
It is really, really weird because it's also like, obviously I love Rachel, but she has a really bad taste in allies for a lot of this season, and she just surrounded herself,
Unfortunately, yeah.
with people who are either messy or really, really bad. And I mean, on the flip side, and there's still a chance for unpredictability here, but I'm looking at like the remaining people. Yeah, Vince is the most obvious winner from all of it. But then I look at somebody like Lauren.
Lauren could win.
Lauren could win, but even if Lauren doesn't win, I will sit here and say there is a 99% chance that Lauren is in the final four, no matter what happens. Like it is sort of like Jordan, and I've said I'm not the biggest Jordan Lloyd fan out there. Like I'm really not. But at the same time, I think any season of Big Brother Jordan plays in, she's going to be top 5 almost regardless, just because of the way that she plays. And I feel like it's kind of similar with Lauren at this point.
Yeah, Lauren is very perceptive. She is seeing a lot of things. She's only trusting certain people, and she's bringing that information and working with the right people. But people don't see her as a threat, even though she's come into her HOH, got her person out, moved out.
Yeah.
Everything is fine. Oh, I don't know. Like, she's playing it in a way that no one's going to really see her as a threat, even though she is coming in and HOH, get her eviction and move on out. Like, she's a threat, but no one's seeing it.
And she's in a really good spot now, like just making herself invisible after that HOH. And so she's done a very, very good job with that. Even making sure she kind of stays pseudo close to people like Catherine, who, I don't think she wants to associate with all the time because, she's attached to Riley. But, they even talked, Lauren and Catherine, and they both agreed, okay, we're getting rid of Jimmy no matter what. That's another number to just ensure Jimmy's goose is further cooked.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, while she's, closer to Vince and Zach, she does still have Catherine that lots of people don't like, so that works for her as well. Catherine's going to go before Lauren, likely. And Catherine's got Riley, which then kind of all helps out. Because if you like Catherine, Riley likes you.
That's the deal at this point. And I mean, we went into all the, weird uncomfortableness with Catherine and Riley in the last video. But I just think the position Catherine's in, regardless of whatever her feelings are, is just that Riley will have my back no matter what in this game. Like, he is a number for me. I have to nurture this. I have to do whatever I can. So we're going to preview the HOH here in just 1 second. The only last thing we'll say before that is just this idea of, okay, is there any chance that the big, somewhat possibly dominant Vince alliance here crumbles? And I think one interesting thing is the reveal from overnight that Ava told Mickey and confirmed that, okay, Vince and Zach, they were trying to flip the vote to get rid of Will. And then Mickey went and talked to Vince and Zach, and she basically said the equivalent of, why was Ava looking at you guys weird on this last eviction? And who knows if Ava actually was. She's just trying to prompt them to see if they say anything.
Yep.
They don't come clean. So Mickey now knows that, okay, Zach and Vince aren't being entirely forthcoming. And like, that's something where Vince can clearly be on her radar. We know that Vince was on her radar as a possible replacement this very week. Like, she hasn't explicitly come out and been like, I have all the regrets, but I think it's probably maybe sitting somewhere in her head. She might also just be in a little bit of denial because you just made this move. I don't think you want to come up and just beat yourself up over it like immediately after.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so now let's have a little bit of an HOH preview at the end of this update, because it's been talked about in the house. The backyard just closed. And for, longtime Big Brother fans, like, you guys know it takes a while to build the wall comp. Like it's
Yes.
always possible in theory that maybe Grodner has like some master architects coming in and building it instantaneously.
Yep.
I I would be surprised. Like I'll put it that way, just with the time in which everything is shut down. So it feels like we're probably not getting a wall comp
Hmm.
moving into the next competition, which
Yeah.
is a little bit of a bummer just because of the fact that I think the tension in the house with all these people right now
Hmm.
is so ripe that either that or a pressure cooker or something like that, like that would have been really, really good. But I mean, who knows? Maybe they're going to be able to pull that off and like all this tension's still going to be there next week.
Absolutely.
The only other thing here is if you're starting to kind of think about, okay, well, then who really needs to win this next HOH? Like, who's gunning for it? And there's really a lot of people, to be honest. Like,
Hmm.
Riley still feels slighted over Mickey taking it. Like, Mickey's not fully aware of it. I mean, Riley, for some reasons, also blaming Keanu for all of this, just because blaming Keanu is everyone's favorite thing to do.
He's always catching strays. Everything is his fault.
I know, but it's like, Riley obviously wants some sort of vengeance there. Keanu knows that he's always going to be a target. Rachel really wants to go after Vince. Vince knows he's in a little bit of danger. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, there are people who probably don't need to win it at this point. People like Zach, people like Lauren, who's already had one and probably feels like she can throw it. But
Hmm.
I think we are going to be in a pretty interesting spot because, yeah, there are sort of some defined lines in the game, but there also are, I mean, a good 5 or 6 people who, depending on what shakes out, could be on the block or evicted moving forward. And
Hmm.
it's not the same situation it was where there was sort of this unified, okay, it's Kelly and Keanu, they're the next two boots, they're the easy ones. Like, even if you're sad that Jimmy is probably going unless he wins the blockbuster, it feels like this week has kind of changed things when it comes to possible shakeups.
Yeah.
But that is where we are coming out of day 30 of Big Brother 27. Do you guys think Jimmy has any last hope? Do you still dream of Keanu and Rachel working together? Let us know in the comments. Hit that subscribe button. And yeah, support us further by joining our Patreon. That
Hmm.
link is in the description. We really appreciate your support there more than we can say. And we will see you here next time.